Okay, there's no visual with this video because there doesn't really need to be. I've spent all of 2 minutes looking into this ship hitting a bridge story. And even if we went with the just purely rational aspect of it, it's like, don't they have coast guards? Don't they have people at the bridge of a ship? Would you not see that you're heading towards a bridge? Don't they have these deep channels for these ocean-going vessels and liners, container ships and such like? But what does it all mean? What is really being shown with this? I've not actually been able to ascertain the date. I've seen in the very brief thing I looked at, it was early hours of the morning, so I'm assuming it was on the 26th, so 2 and 6 is 8, which is infinity. That is a clue that it's something playing out over and over again. That has been shown by Archaics, 1998 being the isometric marker for another event an equal number of years before 1998 that is mirrored with this latest one. So it's Baltimore. So straight away you've got Baal, B-A-L. I'm sure most of you are familiar. It's a representation of some demonic god that this or that faction are supposed to worship. But also consider from that, if we break it down, Baal, Tai, More. You've got to look at this in an allegorical way. These are metaphors that are being shown. So it's tying more to Baal. So let's look at the three component parts. There's a trinity here. First off, with the actual bridge, as I understand it, there are 3 spanned sections. So you could say that represents mind, body, and soul. A bridge represents a pathway, a crossing from one point, one solid, firm foundation to another. Excuse me. For that, I would say it's representing the spiritual path. So that spiritual path has been ruined. It's been disrupted. The water represents the collective mood of humanity that go with these stories and the resulting fear that comes out of it. Speculation of another 43,000 bridges in the USA are structurally defective in the event of something like this happening, for example. And the ship, well, what is a ship? What does that represent? Well, a ship, another term for that is a vessel. So that is representing the body, the human body. So what you have being shown is a severing of a connection for the collective. This is a message being shown reflecting what is happening to humanity for the collective. But if you take the view that is being shown a lot of the time, the aerial view, take the higher perspective that it is showing what is happening with the path of the collective, the flow, the direction that they're going, and stay neutral to it. Just see the story for what it really is in an allegorical and metaphorical sense. That's my perspective. I'm not saying that is what it is, but that's what I feel the key component parts of this story are showing. But to use an archaic term, if you're on an errant, you won't be affected by this, but you will be able to see the polarity with the isometric marker. You will be able to see the patterns. You will be able to see there is 2 sides to this. There will be speculation of who's responsible for it and all this type of thing. And that in itself becomes a rabbit hole. Also, just touching on the numerology, if it's the 26th of March, so it's 2, 6 and 3, which makes 11, which is associated with doorways. So it's showing a going into a new chapter, you could say, as well. Not looking too good for the collective from that. I feel it's a sort of, should we say, a covert predictive programming of an early stage of letting the cat out the bag with events from the March of 2020, for example. It's the absolving responsibility by saying, well, you did this of your own choice. Nobody forced you to do it, but obviously there was coercion. I think you know what I'm alluding to here. And also refer you back to a Rudolf Steiner lecture from 1917, where he said that there will be something invented to sever that God connection, that spiritual connection. That's what the breaking of the bridge, I would say, is being shown and being represented here. But if you are the captain of your vessel, you won't run aground, you won't be steered off course. You'll be able to navigate your way through this and stay neutral to it, and you'll pass. And it's interesting how it's that time of year just after the equinox, the Passover, but this was a ship that didn't pass under. I could just keep going deeper and deeper, and this could become a rabbit hole with all of this, but it's really just sort of standing back from it, observing and seeing the metaphors that are being shown that reveals a picture. The media, for all intents and purposes, is actually guiding humanity, but it's in a very twisted way that needs looking through the, piercing the veil, as it were, beyond that superficial level of the story, and seeing what the metaphorical message really is contained within it. And I feel if you can apply that to any story, a new story will come out of it. It's as much the same as with biblical passages, for example, referring to you can't put new wine into an old wine sack. That is basically a way of saying that you can't take in new ideas if you are holding old belief systems, because they won't make sense. You'll reject things because you've closed yourself off. There's your gatekeeper. You are your own gatekeeper when you just totally dismiss anything as coincidence and brush it off, or even fall into the take hold of that script and now become an active player in that drama, because you're giving your attention, you're giving your energy to it, you're feeding it basically. So this is why I say I looked at it for all of 2 minutes, because I've seen enough. I don't want to go any deeper. I don't want to be giving my energy to that. There are far more creative things I can put my energy into, but at the same time, in the balance, I feel it is worth sharing a message of a perspective that I can see, that hopefully it will make sense to you as well from this and what is really being shown, and also perhaps arm you with a pattern to decode other events and stories that are played out in this material reality. So love to you all. We'll keep this video short because the weather is rather adverse and I don't know how long this is going to take to upload, hence another reason there is no picture. But there doesn't need to be a picture. You can create the pictures in your mind. Your mind will automatically create pictures as to anything I say and that you're listening to. So love to you all, and I wish you all a wonderful day.